Have you ever stopped to think about the invisible world inside you? You know, the one that's calling all the shots on your energy, your mood, your overall health? We're talking about hormones. And in this explainer, we're going to tune in and listen to them in a totally new way.
Just think about that for a second. Right now, there's this incredibly complex symphony of chemical messengers playing inside of you. It's directing, well, everything. Your energy levels, your mood, how you sleep, how you metabolize food. It's literally the music of your health. So if our hormones are the music, then who's the conductor? Who's up there holding the baton? You might be surprised to find out it's not just one person or one thing. There are actually a bunch of different forces at play, both inside our bodies and out, all influencing this really delicate performance.
All right, first up, let's meet the musicians themselves. This is our endocrine system. Think of it as the body's in-house production studio for this entire hormonal symphony.
So, the endocrine system, it's basically the collection of all the instruments in our orchestra. It's made up of different glands that create and release hormones straight into our bloodstream, sending these little musical notes, these signals, all over the body to keep everything running in perfect harmony.
And as you can see right here, these instruments, they're everywhere. You've got the pituitary gland in your brain, the thyroid in your neck, the adrenal sitting on your kidneys, all the way down to the ovaries or testes. They're all positioned throughout the body, and each one plays an absolutely crucial part in the overall song of your health.
But, the endocrine system isn't the only conductor in town. In just the last few years, science has uncovered another really powerful leader that's influencing the music: your gut.
Deep inside your gut, there's a very specific group of players called the estrobolome. Think of them as like a specialized section of the orchestra, maybe the strings or the brass, with one super important job: managing the hormone estrogen.
This diagram really shows you just how much power they have. So our body packages up estrogen that's been used, ready to get rid of it. But as that package passes through the gut, the estrobolome can actually step in, unwrap it, and send that estrogen right back into your system.
It's really a simple three-step dance. Step 1, the liver packages up old estrogen for disposal. Step 2, as it travels through the gut, certain bacteria can unpackage it. And step 3, this newly freed estrogen gets reabsorbed. So what's the big takeaway here? Well, the health of your gut can directly change the amount of estrogen floating around in your body, which can have a huge impact on all sorts of estrogen-sensitive conditions.
Okay, so we've got our internal conductors. But what about influences from the outside world? Well, it turns out our environment is full of, let's call them hecklers in the audience. These are chemicals that can totally disrupt the whole performance.
And there are a lot of them. I mean, just look at this number. The Endocrine Society estimates there are over 1,000 potential endocrine-disrupting chemicals, or EDCs, out there. These are man-made substances that can really interfere with our body's music.
The tricky part is, they're pretty much everywhere. They're in the plastics we use, the pesticides sprayed on our food, the flame retardants in our couches, and even in things we put on our skin every day, like lotions and shampoos. We're getting exposed to them all the time.
So how do these hecklers actually cause trouble? Well, they can do a few things. They can mimic our natural hormones, basically tricking our body into reacting when it shouldn't. They can also physically get in the way, blocking our real hormones from doing their job. Or they can mess with the production line itself, messing up how hormones are even made. Any one of these can throw the whole symphony way out of tune. Now, I know this might all sound a little scary, but here is the good news. We have a ton of control. One of the best ways we can support our hormone orchestra is by giving the instruments the right fuel. And that all comes down to nutrition.
Let's start with omega-3s. These are so important for fighting inflammation, which is a major cause of hormonal chaos. But not all omega-3s are created equal. You have ALA, which comes from plants, but our bodies have a really hard time converting it into something we can use. Then you have EPA and DHA, which come from marine sources, and these are the ones our bodies can use right away, no conversion needed.
So, for your plant-based ALA, you're thinking things like flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts. But for those real powerhouses, EPA and DHA, you want to focus on foods like wild-caught salmon, sardines, and even seaweed. Getting enough of these can really help cool down inflammation and get your hormones back in balance.
This is especially important for conditions like PCOS, which is a really common endocrine disorder. A lot of the strategies here focus on managing insulin resistance. So that means eating foods with a low glycemic index. Stuff that releases sugar slowly so you don't get a big spike, along with good lean protein, healthy fats, and tons of colorful anti-inflammatory foods.
Now, I'm sure you've probably heard about trends like seed cycling. And while the seeds themselves are fantastic for you, super nutritious, we have to approach the practice of it with a little bit of caution. As this quote here points out, even though it's all over the internet, the hard scientific evidence to back up the cycling method itself, well, it's just not really there yet.
Okay, so we've listened to all the different parts of our hormone orchestra, the good, the bad, and the seriously disruptive. So what's the bottom line? What are the key things to remember so you can be a better conductor of your own health?
Here's a quick and simple checklist for you. Number 1, take care of that second conductor, your gut. Number 2, be a smart consumer and try to lower your exposure to those EDCs. Number 3, actively fight inflammation by eating foods rich in EPA and DHA. And finally, number 4, focus on balancing your blood sugar by eating a diet filled with whole, real, nutrient-packed foods.
Your body's symphony is playing 24/7. And look, while you can't control every single note, you have a huge amount of influence over the entire composition. So the question is, now that you know all the players, which instrument are you going to tune up first?